Mikkel. Nørgaard, do I pronounce it right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, okay, it's a good beginning. You're from Skoleskak, Denmark?
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, I'm the CLO, Chief Learning Officer with Dansk Skoleskak. I've been with the organization for 13 years, and the organization has been professional for about 15 years, but it's founded in 1960 by school teachers and headmasters who wanted to use the game of chess to enhance learning capabilities and social competences with kids. And this is actually still what we're doing, but we're doing it in a more systematic and professional way than way back in the 60s.
But also you don't teach at the schools, you teach the teachers.
Yeah, I teach the teachers, and most of what we do, the employees of Dansk Skoleskak teach the teachers and make projects and interventions with municipalities or foundations or sometimes even the government in Denmark.
Yeah, you reach out to about 30% of the schools? Primary schools?
Yeah, like 30%. We have some schools for young adults, and we have some preschools, but we have 1/3 of this, what is called the folkeskole, the school from the kids from age 7 to 15. We have about 30% of those as member schools, and about 2,000 teachers work with Skoleskak in some capacity.
Yes, and then you have this, you're extending your activities to special need groups, I think, or did you do it already all time?
Yeah, we've done it for years. Since 2018, it's been in a systematic way with large scale intervention, and we've reached upwards of 10,000 kids with specially designed interventions with specially designed interventions with specially designed didactics and specially designed teaching materials. Usually what we set out to do is trying to create more paths of participation for kids with autism, ADHD, pupils with cognitive problems. We try to use the game of chess to make it easier for them to find a way into the community at school.
Yes, but are there special programs, or is there extra attention for these kids within the groups?
Both. We have two special programs. One called Skoleskak for alle, that is scholastic chess for everyone, and we have the other one is called The Brain and the Curriculum, which is what I'm here at the London Chess Conference to talk about. It's designed to increase the kids' awareness of mental health and to help stimulate their social competencies.
Yeah, that's also awareness is one, but what to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how do you work on your own mental health and your peers' mental health, and what sort of strategies can you develop in order to better handle what happens in life?
Maybe not everybody understands immediately, but can you describe the difference between a competence and a skill?
Yeah, because it's a bit difficult to do in English, but I'll try as best as I can. If it were in the field of math, you'd say that the competency was the ability to solve various different kinds of problems, whereas a skill would be following a recipe that would work for a specific type of problem every time.
Kind of algorithm or heuristic or whatever?
Come again, please?
A kind of algorithm.
Yeah. You would, yeah. And so
skill is just how to know how.
Yeah.
But is the competence more a mental thing?
Yeah, I suppose it is. It's a set of strategies in terms of problem solving, planning, of pattern recognition as well. The competency of traveling. When you travel, you use various different strategies in order to plan your travel, in order to perform your travel, execute it. But one of the skills you need to master in order to travel is reading the table for the bus.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but what has chess to do with this?
Well, we work with both things in chess. but the thinking competency, the ability to assess a problem, to evaluate whether one course of action is better or more fruitful than another action, and to execute, to actually act upon what you see, that chess is a perfect training ground for these things. Training ground.
Training ground.
Yeah. And what is central to our understanding of this is that the teacher, he plays a central role in this. The teacher is the one who points from the chessboard to all other sorts of arenas in the kid's life.
There we come to speak about voice and transfer, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and mediated learning. And
Can you explain a bit what that means?
Well, what our understanding of how this should work is that the teacher is the more competent in the classroom. He knows where to go, he knows what to train, and he needs, in a way that is fun and engaging and compassionate, to help the kids realize that what they're doing on the chessboard and the things they're training, they actually have value and can be applied in their life outside the classroom, in the breaks, in other subjects, but also at home and later on in life. And the role of the teacher is not to make them grandmasters at chess, but to create opportunities to talk about, where do you need this skill? Where do you need this competency? Outside of this classroom, and what have you learned today that you may use on the football field, or when you're supposed to take the bus back home, when your dad asks you to do the dishes tonight? What have you learned that makes that situation easier to handle?
That means one of the methods is discussion and discovering this together in a group. I understand, but what is there intrinsic in the game of chess that makes it fit for this?
Well, there is intrinsic motivation to be found in the game of chess. It's something that most kids, even kids with really immense challenges, learning disabilities or otherwise, it's fun. It's engaging.
It's playing.
And
learning by playing.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to learn. At least by way of mini games, and if you have a lot of time to learn, that provides for intrinsic motivation. And what we've found is that kids who don't participate at all in the regular, like math classes or other classes, are just sitting outside on the swing in the playground or over in the corner, they actually come up and join activities at the common table when it's chess that's on the horizon. And it has to do with the gamified way of doing things. That's pretty
game-based learning.
Yeah, game-based learning, exactly. Yeah.
And now you are doing some research about the effects of these new programs.
Yeah.
And what came out?
We're halfway through this intervention, so there's been a initial sort of baseline measurement with these 1,400 kids. Then there's been conducted some interviews with teachers that have taught the kids, and there's been a halfway evaluation of questionnaires that have been done. And the halfway report tells us, although there are some trouble with the data because there's been a great, quite a few kids have left school in the time since the baseline measurement. But what we have heard from the teachers now is that this furnishes the kids with more words, even a language for thoughts and emotions that they didn't have before. They see kids interacting differently, and they interact with other kids than they used to. And it makes for a quieter and more productive learning environment as well.
Do you see some factors, some variables that are especially important in this process, because you do a lot of things at the same time?
Yeah.
So what's the most effective?
It seems that those teachers who have followed the teaching material closely and followed the vocabulary in the teaching material very much by the book have made the best results. Also, the teachers who insist on the culture of chess, the shaking of hands before and after the game, the quiet atmosphere, waiting for your opponent to conclude his thought process. Those teachers who have sort of given that a lot of focus have reaped very great benefits, even with sometimes quite lively classes.
But who tells me this is not a nice kind of a placebo because they get extra attention?
Well, these kids are supposed to do social training anyway. So what they're doing is actually a different form of social training from what they've been doing so far. They've been using other concepts, not gamified concepts, other concepts. And this just has a bigger effect, apparently.
Okay, I think that's about this program, or do you have anything to add about it, or was this the essence about it?
Well, we are waiting. The intervention runs through 1924, and once it's concluded, there will be a final measurement, and we'll see the total sum effects of the intervention by then. And I'm excited to see what will happen with it. It's running in 49 schools in Denmark, so it's sort of a large-scale intervention, and I think what we would like to do once we have the conclusion of the evaluation is that we'd like to take what's best, what so to speak, what the most effectful parts of this intervention, and try it in a large scale, but in a few schools. So they would devote a lot of time and a lot of attention to doing exactly this, and we'll be excited to see where that takes us.
Yeah, what about international cooperation? Is this only done in Denmark, or do you know about other examples of initiatives?
Yeah, there are throughout Europe. There are, particularly in the field of autism. You know yourself, you've done a lot of work there, and we've had cooperation for 5 years now about this. We mentioned it in my presentation as well, and we have Sorokina speaking, I think on Sunday, about her work with autism. I don't have a very intimate grasp of the methodology and their work, but I know it's something that is being experimented with throughout Europe. And what we've found over the last 5 or 6 years is that, particularly in the field of autism, this has some really big potentials. It's hugely promising.
Yeah. But what brings you to London?
Well, I'm here to branch out and to network, and obviously to give a presentation and tell about the experiences we've had with the special needs, the field of special needs. But I'm also quite interested in the topic of STEM and chess in education. We in Denmark talk to a number of foundations and endowments who want to stimulate the interest of STEM, and we feel that we can help them with that, and we'd like to help them with that. But it's still sort of an abstract thing for outsiders to understand how chess stimulates thought competence.
Well, it's up to you to develop ideas or to research how it works. To explain the world how to implement it.
Yeah, and find the most powerful metaphors to make people outside understand exactly how it is that this ancient board game can actually stimulate 21st century competences. Because you understand, and I understand, and most of the guys here at the conference have some sort of understanding that's how it works. We can actually we can do a lot of stuff with critical thinking, with logic, with reasoning. But we know that because we come from inside the board, and people looking from the outside, they need a bit more of explanation and a bit more imagery.
Do you have a site where people can find the information?
Well, when we apply for grants with foundations, we obviously refer to our websites. We refer to some international research that has been done.
No, I mean about your own activities. You have Dansk Skoleskak has a site.
Yeah, we have skoleskak.dk.
But only in Danish?
Yeah, I think there is. You can grasp the content in English somehow, but it's not perfectly translated. We don't have an international site that is perfect, so to speak. We have done some publishing in English over the years, but not extensively. And we have some research that has been done in some of our interventions, which has been published in English, most notably in the +1 journal about our mathematics program, which was researched by Aarhus University some years ago, and that's published in.
+1. What is this?
Yeah, that's an international magazine for social science and education. Yeah, and that was peer reviewed, and we've it did show at the time. It showed 1/3 of a year's extra math for the intervention group as opposed to a control group. So it was a fairly powerful result, but it was merely 5 schools and 500 students. So I think that a large scale study could be called for. But,
thank you.